Welcome to the Colors Delight for Life. It's about life, where we share our experience, strength, and hope to help others so they have a better understanding. Thank you.
My name is Kristi Jacques. I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I am a diabetes lifestyle coach, I want to be musician, and also a type 1 diabetic.
Okay, guess what? We have something in common.
What's that?
I'm diabetic myself.
Okay.
Why don't we start back with your childhood, and you can start from there, and I will let you take it from here as far as that's concerned, as far as your experience, strength, and hope for folks. Take it away.
I grew up in a very, very, very small town called Norway, South Carolina. It's about this big, one stoplight that blinks. And I lived there until I was about 5. And we moved to Charleston, South Carolina, which is much bigger, much nicer. And we lived there for a while. Actually, I grew up there. But at the age of 12, almost 13, I started having symptoms that my mother recognized.
About your diabetes?
Yes. I was constantly thirsty, going to the bathroom all the time, exhausted, nauseous, and some days I couldn't even get out of bed. I thought I was playing hooky from school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mom, I don't feel so great. But she noticed what was going on and knew the symptoms and took me to the doctor and got the blood work back. And I found out that I had the diagnosis from the emergency room doctor. I could not get out of bed that morning. I had to be carried to the car, taken to the emergency room. I was almost comatose. And when they wheeled me in, the doctor standing over me saying, "So, how long have you been diabetic?" At that age, I had no idea what it was about. And that was quite a shock to learn about something being wrong with you in that manner. And it took me a while to accept the diagnosis. I was angry. I was rebellious. I remember standing in front of my parents, and I ate an entire Snickers bar right in front of them just to get back at them. Now, it hurt me more than it did them physically. Emotionally, I think I got the best of them. But yeah, I struggled for a while.
It is a lifelong thing, and it's just part of what we have to do. You know, take extra. You probably couldn't agree with me. You probably have to take extra special care of yourself to make sure you stay healthy.
Yeah, well, I'm very particular about the things that I do and that I eat. So I stay on top of it. And, you know, my blood sugars are normal for someone without diabetes at this point. So I've learned how to adapt my lifestyle to my needs. And that is kind of what I teach my clients as a diabetes lifestyle coach. And to be honest, I've gotten people with type 2 diabetes off their medication or greatly reduced. So it can happen. But you still have to keep track of everything, make sure you're doing what you need to do.
Well, for me, just a little bit, I was in a car accident that really shook up my pancreas.
Oh, yeah.
I was not on no diabetes medication previous to that. It barely functions as it does because of the accident. it secretes very little, um, if you understand. So I have to supplement that. Up
Yeah,
to the point, I was not on diabetes medicine after the gastric bypass. I was totally off medications for over 3 years. So I
wow.
get your point about that we do have some control over our own destiny as far as how we handle this. But
Absolutely.
I, I'm just very grateful for that. I do have medications that allow me. Originally, I was on 5 shots of insulin a day, like 20 to 25 units. So that this was a big leap to coming off of that. So,
Yeah. Well, congratulations on doing that.
well, well, congratulations to you too, of educating people about, this important thing. And it's become rampant in our nation.
It has.
And, taking you on your journey from your childhood into young adulthood, how did things work out, or how did things happen during that time period?
Well, back then we didn't have the technology that we do today. I didn't even have the ability to prick my finger to check my blood sugar. That wasn't even a thing then. So I had to do the urine sticks to check for ketones,
Mm-hmm.
which now I, at this point, I want to see ketones because of being in ketosis rather than ketoacidosis. So that's a whole separate conversation. But yeah, I
Feel
didn't.
feel
Was
free
that?
to share on it, so to educate our audience.
Yeah. As a lifestyle coach, I also am a ketogenic lifestyle coach, which means I teach people how to reduce their carbohydrates
Mm-hmm.
because all carbohydrates are going to turn into sugar in the body, whether it's a candy bar or, you know, a spoonful of rice or potato. It does the same thing in the body. So I teach people how to reduce the carbohydrate intake, up their protein a little bit, eat those fresh, leafy, non starchy vegetables, and some healthy fat. And that can change everything. That's the lifestyle that I follow. And I try to maintain my blood sugar at around 83 throughout the day. I mean, my line is even. When I consumed what's recommended by some of the endocrinologists, I was like this. I'd eat what they told me to. My blood sugar would spike. Then I'd take a lot of insulin to bring it down. It would come down too low. Then I'd have to supplement with what I call my emergency Skittles to bring it back up. And that roller coaster that I was on was constant and exhausting. So that is why I follow a ketogenic lifestyle, and I prefer to be in ketosis. When I was first diagnosed with diabetes, I was in ketoacidosis. My blood sugar was close to 700. So there is a huge difference between those two terms. But people they think they're the same thing, and they're not.
After describing that, what were the challenges and stuff like in your 20s? If you can describe that for what you're dealing with, or family members, or anything else that happened, or things you overcame to move you forward, and into your 30s and 40s.
I turned 50 last year, so yeah.
I'm
um,
55. We're both in the same age bracket, so that's good.
um, now, since I didn't have all the technology back then, I never knew what my blood sugar was at any point. So I didn't know if the insulin dosage I was taking was correct. I didn't know if what I was eating was correct. And to be honest, I went through that rebellious phase into my teenage years and early 20s. I felt like I was indestructible and did whatever I wanted to. And there was one night that I woke up with the EMT standing over me. I had had a seizure in the middle of the night from really, really low blood sugar. But again, I didn't know what my blood sugar was before I went to sleep. I had no way of measuring it. So that was kind of scary. Now, as I got older, I started taking better care of myself. And I started using an insulin pump about 20 years ago. I tried it for a while. And when I sleep, I toss and turn. So the line would break and I wouldn't get any insulin overnight. And I'd wake up at 600 again. So I stopped that and went back to injections.
I have to admit, when they diagnosed me 20 some odd years ago, mine was over 400 and the test wouldn't read any higher than over 400. So
Yeah.
that's how they discovered I was diabetic.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
It really is. And so when I went back to injections, I was able to keep myself under control. And then I was keeping myself a little too low. And again, having those instances of, almost passing out from low blood sugar. And when it happened while I was driving, I said, that's enough. And I ended up getting a continuous glucose monitor, which I'm so thankful for all the technology today. So I have this little device that I can push a button and see where my numbers are. And if it's going too low or too high, it starts making a racket. So if I'm driving a long distance and it starts screaming at me, I've got my emergency Skittles and I can correct it before it becomes an issue.
Wow.
So I love this thing.
I'd love to have something like that where I didn't have to prick my fingers. So
yeah,
I've looked into it, but if you're type 2, they don't give it to you.
There is one called the Libre Freestyle or Freestyle Libre. It's the circular patch.
Yeah.
But it does not have the alerts, but you just scan it with your phone and you change it every 2 weeks.
And you can buy that over the counter?
I think so, but I would check. Your doctor can write a prescription for it.
Sounds like something I would have because sometimes I have issues with my blood sugar and
yeah. I've had many clients use it and they were shocked because they'd always just kind of check after eating something. They're like, I didn't think that would cause me a problem, but look.
Well, thank you for the heads up on that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So you said you went into your 20s. So what was it like in your 30s?
I tested my blood sugar. I took my medication, my insulin, and I just lived my life, and I did really well. For the last 20 years, my A1C has been 5.5 or lower.
Wow, congratulations.
Because I'm very determined to stay as healthy as possible.
Probably makes you feel better.
Oh, yeah. I'm not on that roller coaster anymore. And again, that was exhausting.
As you went into doing your business, what sparked your interest to start your business, from where you are, and how long ago did you do that?
My business, that is an ever-changing entity. It started out as a nonprofit organization back in 2006. And I started that nonprofit because I started a wellness expo in 2003, where I brought in different alternative, complementary practitioners, speakers, and celebrities, and brought them all in for a couple days here in Myrtle Beach and just educated the public. And 3 years into it, it was suggested that I turn it into a nonprofit, which I did. And it was called the Wellness Council for South Carolina. And after 10 years, we determined that just saying wellness was too broad, and we needed to focus the energy of the organization on one particular cause. Why not diabetes? So it became the Diabetes Wellness Council. And I had a physical office for about 2 years that I had to close down beginning of 2020.
We all know the reason for that.
Yeah, I think something happened then. But I think it was something like that. Yeah. But when I closed the office, I decided to, rather than doing all my coaching through the nonprofit, to focus the nonprofit area on the lower income communities, doing diabetes prevention and education there, and then take the coaching and start my own business. And that's where I am today.
What are some of the challenges and triumphs you think you've had in your business, as you started it and you worked your way through it?
Well, when I started it, that was May of 2020. Again, not the best time to start a business. But my biggest challenge was getting people to care about their health. It's amazing to me that people just say, well, I'll take a pill. I can do whatever I want. Now, granted, I was kind of like that, back in my teens and early 20s. But I learned how to do better and to feel better. When I have somebody say to me, well, the doctor wants to amputate my toe if I don't get my blood sugar, improved, but, I've got 9 more. It doesn't matter. It's hard to overcome that obstacle. And it's challenging to find people who are ready to make a change, ready to improve their health, and just, take a step forward.
One thing about my diabetes, it taught me when I was 494 pounds, how much I didn't care about myself. I care about myself now, and I'd like to get off medications, but I've listened to my doctors and listened to folks. I look at diet. One of my own challenges is I have a hard time digesting fresh fruits and vegetables, and I'm looking on starting on a special dietary for my stomach to bring things down and stuff like that, because my foods are limited right now. I do greens, you know what those are?
Yeah.
I do greens. I do protein powder. I like eat Cheerios. I eat a very low sugar diet. I eat high in protein. I control my carbs. I think I eat less than 10 carbs a day. It's still a challenge to keep it going because of the detriment to my pancreas, as you probably know that. And I brought my numbers down considerably. Before the accident, they were normal, but they kept going up to like 10. And now I've brought them down to 6.5. And every time I'm checked, they're going lower and lower.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. I like to tell folks that you don't have to complain about a problem unless you're willing to do something about it, whether it be for yourself or other people. Just a heads up, I have a degree in nonprofit management and public policy. So if you need any assistance in that,
Thank you.
I can help. I've been trained in helping folks and give technical assistance. Do you have children or anything?
Just the four-legged kind. I have an 11-year-old pug named Oliver and an almost 21-year-old calico cat named Priscilla. Although she has a lot of names.
I have a 10.5-year-old beagle. She's the love of my life. She's laying down there. I got her off like regular dog food. I feed her fresh meats and I try to get her to eat fresh fruits and vegetables, but I feed her a whole foods diet instead of the
the prepackaged.
right. And she's much more.
No grapes or raisins, no onions or celery. So I also worked in veterinary medicine for a while.
I have to admit, I got out of a battering relationship about 16 months ago, and she was up to 80 pounds, and I've taken 25 pounds off of her since then.
Wow.
And she's got a different life. She's got about 15, 20 more to go, and then she'll be a normal doggy. But her life is so much different. It's amazing when you take care of yourself, like you were talking about, the amazing benefits of it. And I've got several different disabilities, but the taking care of yourself is huge.
So. Absolutely. And it's not even all about what you're eating or if you're getting any movement in during the day. It's also about what you're thinking, how you're feeling. Mindset is huge. If I wake up in the morning and say, this is going to be a horrible day, guess what?
Horrible day.
It will be a horrible day. So you have to kind of change the way you look at life, the way you react to situations. And I have recently started keeping a gratitude journal. I write in it every night. And that has helped me change my perspective.
What is special as far as your mind, body, soul, emotions, and spirit connection?
Honestly, I just like to do things that make me happy, that make me smile, talking with friends, no matter where they are, listening to my favorite music, watching a funny television show, even writing my own music. All these things just keep me motivated and really upbeat and happy. Even if I'm writing a sad song, it can be therapeutic and again, change the way I think about things.
I call it the mind switch, turning off the negative and turning on the positive as far as the mind. You have to even be that. I also look like in business, the people you surround yourself with in business is huge about, how people see you and the feedback people give to you when you have that, good 5 or 6 people that surround you.
Right.
Sometimes it's not even family because family can give us negative messages about you seem to understand what I just said.
Yeah, I've had a few moments like that, but I have a very supportive group of friends and family that I rely on when I need something or I just need to vent. They're there. I have had days where I had a complete meltdown, but they're there to help me through it, get over myself, and focus on the big picture.
Well, this is kind of coming to the conclusion. If there were 3 big takeaways that you can give our audience, what would they be?
Take care of yourself, body, mind, and soul. That's the biggest thing for me. And do what makes you happy. Whether it's a hobby or maybe it's just reading a book or spending time with your fur baby. Do things that make you happy.
She's laying right down here. I don't know if yours does that, but
he's in the other room. He's not allowed in here right now. He's marked some of my guitars as his own, and so I have to keep him away.
I get that point. I know some dogs that do that, so I get the point on that. So thank you for coming to Claire's Delight for Life. It's about life. I hope you enjoyed our podcast as much as I did, and I hope you have a great day. I'd love to let you know about a new book coming out, and it's a great help for those who, and including you, to deal with life. It's called Overcoming Depression, Anxiety, PTSD, and Stress. Who couldn't use a book like this? And it's a great program. And the book and audio are going to be made available on Audible and Amazon. We also have we are on all the social platforms, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, and TikTok, and just about anything else you can think of. With all that being said, we also have some other wonderful books that you can get on Amazon and Audible and on our website too, which is declaresdelightforlife.com. Again, that's declaresdelightforlife.com. And those books are Clutter to Declutter. And another one is 28 Days to Declutter Your Mind. The other one is Secrets to Declutter Your Mind Now. These were written with lots of love and experience, these books, to really help you on your journey in life, because I know, having gone through so much in my life, these are written from the heart to see that you too can succeed despite your situations. And I just want you guys to know that we do have a 180-day guarantee that if any of these don't work for you, you can just email us or at support@declaresdelightforlife.com, and we will refund your money with no questions asked, because we believe that a no questions asked guarantee is the best way to have a great relationship with you. And with that said, you know what? I hope you enjoyed this episode of Declares Delight for Life. It's about life, sharing your experience, strength, and hope.